Hi, this is Ron Gannett, and we are talking about Thanksgiving tips, ways we can truly be thankful people during this holiday season. You know, one of the passages that strikes me is in John chapter 6, where Jesus is faced with the problem of feeding 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. The first thing Jesus does, though, to accomplish this grand miracle is to take the bread, he breaks it, he lifts it to heaven, and he gives thanks to his heavenly Father. You know, another time we see Jesus doing this is in the upper room the night before he dies. He's getting ready to go to the cross, but he has the first Lord's table with the disciples. And again, he takes the bread, and he lifts that bread up to heaven, and he thanks the heavenly Father. You know, there's something that Jesus knew during this Thanksgiving season that we need to remember. And that is that every blessing, every gift that we have tumbles down from heaven, from the Father of heavenly lights who blesses our lives. You know, you wonder why. Why would Jesus, who is God himself, thank his heavenly Father? Because he knew that the Father was the ultimate source. Have you ever pulled out a loaf of bread in your kitchen and put it on the table and wondered, wow, isn't it amazing that someone cooked this for me? Where'd that bread come from? Well, you know, some stock boy in a grocery store took it out of a rack and put it on the shelf. Earlier that morning, some delivery guy in a truck drove up and delivered the bread to the store. But he picked up the bread from a factory where the bread was made. The bread got the flour from some guy who milled the grain. The guy who milled the grain bought the grain from a farmer who grew it. And the farmer planted the seed in the ground, but ultimately it was the God of heaven who made that seed to grow. You know, every day, whether we receive a gift or we eat a meal, we remind ourselves that the God of heaven is the provider of all good gifts. And do I thank him for what he has given to me? I'd like to make you a suggestion. Just as Jesus took the bread and lifted it to heaven and gave thanks to the Father, I think during this Thanksgiving season, as we anticipate our time together as a family, every time we enjoy some food, every time we see a meal, let's use that time to thank God. You have 3 opportunities at least every day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 3 times every day to pause at home, in a restaurant, in privacy, wherever you are, to tell the God of heaven how thankful you are. Recently, Susan and I were traveling back to Arizona, and as we were in a layover at an airport, we grabbed some fast food and we're sitting at a table eating it. And I looked at the corner and this woman came up with her food and she sat down at a table all by herself. And it almost looked like she was preparing the meal. She was hesitant. I didn't know why she was taking so long to get ready. She looked around, maybe feeling a little bit nervous. But in the quietness of that moment, in the hustle and bustle of the airport, this woman bowed her head, closed her eyes, and gave thanks to God for her food. My friends, her thanksgiving not only made the bells of heaven ring that day, but it touched my heart and reminded me every day and in every way to remember who provides for me and to be thankful to him. So as we anticipate November and Thanksgiving that's coming, don't forget that breakfast, lunch, and dinner, let's let him know how thankful we really are.